What's good, people? What's good? Without further ado, let's go and get into it. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. Because what I do through and through, I just bring you this news with a twist. Just my point of view. Just my point of view. And when it comes, we all got opinions. Opinions like assholes, opinions like yesterday's. We all got them. But shouldn't our opinions be based or be rooted in some type of fact? I'm just asking. Shouldn't it be rooted in some type of fact? Because if our opinions are not rooted in some type of fact, what is it then? What is it? It has to be rooted in some type of fact. Now, we're going to get straight into it. I want to talk about why is it that some fighters got to do more than other fighters to get certain fights. Yes, I'm talking about Saul Cinnamon Alverez. I call him Cinnamon. I got that off of one of those LDBC dudes. You know, they comical. I don't listen to them. I can't even watch their content no more because it's beyond. It's just beyond. It's beyond idiotic stupidity. But we ain't here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Cinnamon Alverez. Now, disclaimer. I'm not saying that he's not a good fighter. I'm not saying that. Canelo Alvarez got skills. He has world-class skills. But hell, there are a lot of fighters with world-class skills. Now, compared to mortal humans, normal people like me, and a lot of y'all, I ain't gonna say a lot of y'all, like some of y'all, because I got like 20 subs or something. Shout out to all my subs. But anyway, to normal people, this dude has all world skills, and he does. So I'm not taking nothing away from Canelo Alvarez. Yes, he's a multi-divisional champ. Yes, he's been in there with some legendary names. I said names. I didn't say fighters. I said names. And I'm gonna get to that. But even the most diehard Canelo fanboy will tell you. They will tell you, they can't even refute this. Canelo Alvarez has not fought the toughest opposition in any weight class he's been in. They can say whatever they like. They can't dispute that. It's indisputable. It's indisputable. I can go through them off the top of my head, which we will right now. At 54, his best wins at 154 pounds were who? Eris Landon Lala and Austin Trout. No disrespect to Lauren Trout. They good fighters. They were some of the best at 54. But you spent most of your career at 54 and you telling me those are the two? You gonna give me 2 fights against top opposition? Only 2 fights. Only 2. Who else? People gonna say, well, he fought Floyd Mayweather. I'm not counting that because Floyd beat the shit out of him. If you count that fight, for Canelo Alvarez, as he fought somebody, that means everybody Floyd Mayweather fought was somebody. That means every single person that Floyd Mayweather laced them up against was somebody. Even these so-called bombs were somebody. Because they got their ass whooped. Like that. Some not as thoroughly. Because that was an ass whooping. If Floyd Mayweather had power at 54, I'm not saying Floyd Mayweather punching with pillows. We know he got some sting with that right hand. He got some sting with that jab, with them hooks, uppercuts, all that. He got sting with it. He got some sting with it. But he ain't had power like he had at 40, at 140. Floyd at 140 was unfair. That was unfair. You just see what he did on Toro Gotti. I'm pretty sure he probably did a lot of dudes like that at 140. He took a dude, even though Gotti wasn't the best, he took a dude that was probably one of the toughest, took to probably take the most punishment, and probably one of the heavier handy guys in the division, and just, yeah, he would have murdered Danny Garcia. Amir Khan, he would have, look. But we ain't gonna get off subject though. But Canelo Alvarez's best wins at 54 Arislandi Lara, and Austin Trout. People gonna say, well, he fought Shane Mosley. Okay, I give you that, but that wasn't prime Shane Mosley. That wasn't. You gonna say that because Shane lost? Okay, let's say this then. Let's take this then. What do people say about Floyd Mayweather's career? Floyd Mayweather cherry-picked and fought guys when they're at their most vulnerable. That's what they say about Floyd Mayweather. Right. Okay. And if they say that about Floyd Mayweather, the fact is, didn't Floyd Mayweather fight Sugar Shane Mosley before Canelo Alvarez fought Sugar Shane Mosley? Isn't that a fact? Okay. So if we say Floyd Mayweather fought Sugar Shane Mosley before Saul Canelo Alverez, and Floyd Mayweather fought a washed up Shane Mosley, what was Shane Mosley when he fought Canelo? We have to say the same thing, right? Okay. So if Shane was washed when he fought Floyd, he was washed when he fought Canelo. Okay, cool. What about Miguel Cotto? Now, Miguel Cotto was champion at 154. Even while Canelo was at 54. But Canelo never fought Miguel Cotto. Why is that? Now, some people say, well, Canelo fought Miguel Cotto for the 160-pound belt. Okay. With weight restrictions and clauses. One. And two, that was a Miguel Cotto after he was washed up, as people told me. Because people said Floyd Mayweather got him when he was washed up, when he was past his prime. So if Floyd got him when he was past his prime, if Floyd got him when he was past his prime, what was Miguel Cotto when he fought Canelo? Hey, if we gotta say washed up Floyd, he gotta be washed up for Canelo. I'm just saying. I ain't saying Cotto was washed up. But for you fanboys, he was washed up for Floyd, so he's washed up for Canelo. Okay? So who else did Canelo fight at 54? He did fight Jamal Charlo, because Jamal Charlo still had to prove himself at 54. That what a lot of people said. He did fight Demetrius Boo Andrade, because Andrade also had to prove himself at 54. That's what people were saying. Who else did Canelo fight? What other top-level opposition did Canelo have at 154? Don't say Amir Khan. Because Amir Khan, I mean, was he considered one of the elite at 147? Bud Crawford made Amir Khan quit. So we're not going to use Amir Khan. Glassjaw Amir Khan, who Danny Garcia knocked out at 140. So we're not going to use Amir Khan. So what top-level opposition has did Canelo Alvarez face at 154 pounds? It's hard for me to think off the top of my head. So I'm going to leave it to you fanboys to tell me. What top-level opposition did he face at 154? I said Sugar Shane, who was washed up, Cotto, who was washed up, Lara, and Trout. But by that time, Lara had a couple of L's before he fought Canelo. And that was a fight that Canelo's people didn't want him to fight. Why is that? Okay. So Canelo fights Cotto, whatever. And then he fought Amir Khan, Chavez, then Cotto. He fought those three guys. I don't know if in that order, but he fought those three guys. Back to back, which is hilarious. While you got Jamel Charlo, Jamel and Jamal called him out. Because by this time, I think Jamel Charlo had a belt at 54. Yeah. Both the Charlo brothers had a belt, and Andrade had a belt. So Canelo said, you know what? I'm going to go to 160. But at 160, when he fought, but he wanted to just immediately go to 160 because Triple G was there waiting for him. I'm not saying Triple G's resume is poo-poo. 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 But that's Canelo Alvarez's best win in 160. Triple G. People gonna say, well, Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs is known, no disrespect to Danny Jacobs, but Danny Jacobs is known for not being knocked out by Triple G. Danny Jacobs is only famous because he stopped Triple G's knockout streak, if I'm not mistaken. Is that what Danny Jacobs is famous for? Being the first guy Triple G couldn't knock out? So what is that really saying? So you get your fame and notoriety because you the first guy that he couldn't knock out. You didn't win the fight, but you just didn't get knocked out by him. Interesting. So that made Danny Jacobs an elite fighter. I mean, that's what Canelo fought. And then once again, like I said, 54, he didn't fight the best. 160. I mean, besides Danny Jacobs, Triple G, who else Canelo fight at 160? And I thought, didn't Canelo want to be undisputed? It's mighty funny he wanted to be undisputed at 160, but then Jamal Charlo becomes his mandatory, and he starts thinking about dropping the WBC belt because, correct me if I'm wrong, Canelo Alvarez fans, wasn't Canelo Alvarez the first franchise champion ever? Not Floyd Mayweather, not Roy Jones, not Muhammad Ali, not Pernell Whitaker, not Oscar De La Hoya, not Chavez Sr., not Sugar Ray, not Duran, not Leonard, not Hearn, not Hagler, not James Toney, not Bernard Hopkins. You know, not a lot of dudes. You know. But Canelo Alvarez was the first franchise champ. Not Manny Pacquiao, Sugar Shane. I'm just trying to run through dudes that we all know and reckon know that won belts in multiple weight classes. And some of these dudes, if not all those dudes I named, are considered greats and going to the Hall of Fame. But ain't none of them dudes ever been a franchise champion. But Canelo Alvarez all of a sudden the franchise champion when Jamal Charlo becomes his mandatory to WBC. Now, I want all boxing fans, Canelo Alvarez fans, I want everybody to explain this one to me. What does it mean when you, as a fighter, work your way up to be the number one contender for a belt? What does that mean? And what does that mean when the champion of that belt drops his belt because for some reason or another, whether you want to say ticket sales, whether you want to say awkward fighting style, whether you want to say whatever reason you want to pull out your ass, whatever reason, the champion said, I don't want this belt no more because I got to fight that guy. What does that mean? I don't care how you slice it. What does it mean when a person has worked their way up to become champion of this belt? You had to fight to get this belt. Okay. What does it mean when you got to fight to get something, and once you got to, and you don't want to fight to keep it? What does it mean? Somebody calling me. I'm not declining this. Let's get back to this video. What does it mean? I'm just curious. So he drops the belt. You know, he goes on to fight Danny Jacobs, and then he goes to 68 and fight Callum Smith. Now, at this point in time, people are saying, Jamal Charlo doesn't deserve a fight with Canelo Alvarez. He has to do more. Huh? I understand his resume at that point. I understand his resume even right now is shitty. After 154. I mean, at 54, he got some quality wins. If you want to count Trout for Canelo, you got to count Trout for Charlo. Both Charlo brothers beat Trout. And then Charlo beat Julian Williams, who at that point in time was one of the top middleweight prospects. Who was a top 10 middleweight. I mean, hold up. Top 10 at 54. And he knocked him out with a left uppercut. Oh, that shit was beautiful. Gosh. But anyway. Yeah. Julian Williams and Trout is just as impressive as Trout and Lauren. Just as impressive. So Charlo's wins at 54 were just as impressive as Canelo Alvarez wins at 54. I mean, I'm just saying. And then Charlo became the mandatory for the WBC at 154 pounds. But even after he became the mandatory, people say he still had to do more. See, that's when people should have realized that those were fanboys. So you mean to tell me someone's the number one contender for the belt? You're number one ranked for this belt. You are the mandatory. You are the next in line to fight this guy for this belt. You, next. And people say that you have to do more? So you working your way up to be next in line is not doing more? What else do you have to do? Okay, so you dropped the belt and Charlo became WBC champion. And he went on to fight Kovalev. People saying he's daring to be great. Daring to be great by fighting a dude that has knockout losses and that was past his prime and on a weight clause restriction. But you didn't want to be undisputed at 75. Daring to be great would have been, I want to fight Dimitri Bivol. I want to fight Berterbia. That's daring to be great. With no weight restriction, no weight clauses. Because I mean, it's obvious that you didn't need him because you fight the Cruiserweight now. So you ain't fight the best at 54. You ain't fight the best at 60. You ain't fight the best at 75. And then, what we got, 68 left? David Benavidez. Lost a title on the scale. And now all of a sudden, Canelo Alvarez said he can't fight his fellow countryman. He said he can't fight his fellow countryman. But you can fight Billy Joe Saunders, Yildirim. What's Yildirim? Yildirim's not of Mexican descent? We might check that one out. Is Yildirim of Mexican descent? Can somebody please help me out? Because he don't fight Mexicans no more. But he fought Yildirim. I guess Yildirim's sparring partner. What did Yildirim do to earn a fight with him? What did anybody at 168 done that Jamal Charlo hasn't done to earn a fight with Canelo Alvarez? You want to say he had a belt? Charlo had a belt at 54. Charlo was mandatory at 160. Charlo's a 2-division weight champion and was once his mandatory, but still has to do more to get a fight. Andrade got to do more. Andrade had 2 belts. Andrade, 2-division champ, was a champ at 54 and Canelo was at 54. Andrade had the WBO at 54 when Canelo's at 54. He lost the WBO because of inactivity. Then Andrade doubled back and got the WBA at 54. And Canelo still didn't want to fight him. And then Andrade got the WBO at 160. Canelo got on down out of Dodge. He didn't want to be the undisputed anymore. He didn't want to be undisputed anymore. Pulling up in the driveway. That's a fact. That's why he left the 160-pound division. And he didn't want to be undisputed at 175. Some people say, well, that's crazy, him wanting to fight at 175 and blah, 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 blah. But he's fighting at Cruiserweight right now. So why didn't he fight Bivol or Berterbia? They're too big. But he's fighting the weight class over them right now. But Bivol and Berterbia is too big. And he don't want to fight David Benavidez, so he leaving 168. Because David Benavidez is next at 168. Because no fighter at 168, I mean, even for the biggest Canelo Alvarez fans and the biggest haters of any other boxer, you cannot name me a better fight. Name me better fighters at 160 pounds better than Charlo and Andrade? I'm asking. I know they ain't phone nobody. I know their resume is a suspect, whatever. But who you putting money on that will beat Andrade or Charlo at 160 pounds? Triple G ain't trying to fight him. Danny Jacobs. Whatever. The guy that's known for not being knocked out by Triple G. It would be interesting. But I'll favor both of them over Danny Jacobs. Who? Okay. 168. Who at 168 that Canelo fought that's beating David Benavidez? It's a rhetorical question. Ain't nobody thinking Billy Joe Saunders beating David Benavidez. People thought Benavidez and Plant was an interesting match, though, but Benavidez would have been favored. Smith? Come on now. Come on now. Yildirim? Come on now. 175 is obvious that Bivol and Bertervia are the best two fighters at 75. But he fought Kovalev, who was stopped by Andre Ward and knocked out by Elita Alvarez. That's the dude he fought. And he got credit for. A dude that was 35, 36, he was 35 years old. Kovalev was 35 years old. Stopped twice. And that's who Canelo fighting. Sound like this Cruiserweight he fighting now. Cruiserweight, who's about 35 years old, who's been previously stopped twice already. That's who Canelo fighting. And everybody give him all this credit and praise, and he's the best at when and what fight. That's why I keep asking people, at what moment, what fight did Canelo Alvarez demonstrate that he was the best fight? Well, he was a great fighter. In what fight? It had to be the Lara fight or the Trout fight. It had to be. Because I know one Floyd Mayweather fight. It couldn't have been Sugar Shane and Cotto because both of them dudes were washed up. He ain't fought Charlo Andrade. So the elite of the elite competition, he ain't fought at 54. Or at 60. Not at 68 either. Neither at 75, but he gets a jump. 5 fighters. He gets a jump. 5 fighters who are young, undefeated, and dangerous. He gets to duck 5 fighters to go fight a cruiserweight who nobody ever heard of. Even you wannabe so-called boxing hardcores or whatever, I'm a casual. I don't get paid from this shit. I just talk about it. I like the sport of boxing. I'm not a dummy. You don't have to be a dummy to know what you're talking about in boxing. You don't have to be an expert to know what you're talking about in boxing. I mean, there's different levels to it. But as far as boxing talk, you don't have to be, well, I've been boxing since I was 2 years old, man. Yeah. No. You just got to know what you're looking at. And what I see is Canelo Alvarez always ducking the toughest opposition. You can say what you want about Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. You can say he doesn't have sales. I can agree. You can say his resume is poo-poo. I will agree. You can say he has an awkward style of boxing. I would agree. I agree with all that. We gonna agree on all that. And also what we're gonna agree on is he is also a 2-division champion at 54 and at 60. He's also a 3-time champion. Yes, he's also a 3-time champion. Had the WBO 154, had the WBA 154. Not at the same time, but he had both of them. Then he got the WBO 160. So he's a 3-time champion in 2 different weight classes and undefeated. What else would he have to do to get a shot at Canelo Alvarez? What was Billy Joe Saunders? Billy Joe Saunders, he was a 2-division champ. But did he hold 3 titles? No. Andrade held 3 titles. So why Billy Joe get a crack, but Andrade can't get a crack? Why did Plant get a crack and Andrade couldn't get a crack? This is why I always tell people. When people go down that, play that game, well, look at this person's resume. What have they done? What you mean? Go down your favorite fighter's resume. I'm pretty sure you can find some bombs. Or not, I'm not gonna call them bombs. They fight for a living. I'm pretty sure you're gonna find some fighters that you don't think that were very good on their resume. Why did they get a shot? And then we start doing that's that duck language, as my guy Boxer Dad will say. That's pussy talk. Because they paid to fight. Do you know what Roy Jones would do if a reporter said anybody was better than him? Roy Jones, sign him up. James Harden was like, sign him up. But now Hopkins, let me get him. They weren't ducking nobody. And this dude ducks everybody. And all of a sudden they want to say, this dude is great. He won the greatest at 168 ever? What? Do you know what Roy Jones Jr. would do to this guy? Do you know what James Toney would do to him? Do you know what Andre Ward would do to him? A Bernard Hopkins? Do you know what these dudes would do to him? Even a Joe Calzaghe. Do you know what they would do to Canelo Alvarez? I personally think they'll beat the brakes off his ass. I know you Canelo stands by. No, Canelo. But what fight have you shown? What fight have you seen Canelo Alvarez been in that will say that Canelo Alvarez will beat somebody like a Roy Jones? Well, Roy Jones, he's this type of fighter, blah, blah, blah. But nobody knew Roy Jones was doing that at 160. And nobody gave him no respect until he did it against James Toney. When he did it against James Toney, everybody said, oh, he's official. Because love him or not, like him or not, whether he trained or not, anybody with a piece of brain and 2 eyes who saw James Toney fight, like, oh, that's a hell of a fighter. That's just not a good fighter. That's a hell of a fighter. He got the skills to be one of the greatest ever. That's what you saw when you saw James Toney. After him and Roy Jones fought. Once you saw that fight, and you saw Roy Jones, then you were like, oh my God. If James Toney is this dude is, wow. No disrespect to James Toney, who's one of the best ever to put on a pair of gloves. I don't give a fuck what weight class you put him in. If all you do is just say Andre Ward to beat James Toney, fucking disgusting. Fucking disgusting. 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 James Toney beat Andre Ward, it's indisputable. I ain't gonna say he knocks him out, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a unanimous decision. Not no split decision. But I got out track. Anyway, Roy Jones did not become official until he did what he did against James Toney. That's when Roy Jones became official. That's usually how it goes. A lot of people pass the eye test. People are like, okay, yeah, you passed the eye test, but we don't know about you until we see you against that level of opposition. And what level of opposition did we see Canelo against at 160? The alleged boogeyman, Triple G. Shit, Charlo want to fight Triple G. Triple G don't want to fight Charlo. Or Andrade. Triple G didn't want to fight Billy Joe Saunders. So what's this saying? What's Triple G's best win? What's Triple G's best win? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Danny Jacobs, who's known for not getting knocked out by Triple G. That's all I'm saying. This dude ain't fought elite opposition at 54, at 60, at 68, or 75. And now he's getting to jump to cruiserweight. And I hear all these fans talking about Floyd Mayweather hating. And that's nothing. Let's get on this Floyd Mayweather hating. Floyd Mayweather don't bring up his name when y'all ask him about when y'all ask him about Canelo. Canelo always talking about Floyd. Tell Floyd to fight me. Why don't you get on the phone and tell Andrade to fight you? Why don't you get on the phone and tell Charlo to fight you? Why don't you get on the phone and tell Bivla Berturbia to fight you? Why don't you call him, I'm pretty sure he's going to answer. Call up David Benavidez. Ask him do he want to set that up. But y'all won't do that. You want to try to get a dude who started fighting at, what Floyd started at, 130, 126 or some shit like that? This dude you finna fight cruiserweight now. Floyd Mayweather ain't even 154 pounds. And this dude is what, 40 what? And you trying to get this dude out of retirement to fight you? But Jamal Charlo, you want to fight Jamal Charlo though. You want to fight David Benavidez though. You want to fight none of these other young hungry dudes that's out here. They got good hands for you. You don't want to fight them. But you're still trying to fight Floyd Mayweather. And people still saying, well, Canelo Alvarez in his prime would be Floyd Mayweather. What fight did you see Canelo Alvarez? What was prime Canelo Alvarez? Please tell me what fight. Don't say the Triple G fight. Because the first fight, a lot of people say he lost. Second fight, the only reason why they want to give it to Canelo because they said Triple G tried to box when he said Mexican style. What? If that ain't the dumbest shit in the world. The dumbest shit in the world. Canelo want to slug it out and he didn't want to slug it out. Who won the match? Gracious. Goodness. After he had clenbuterol in him. Gonna put it on the meat. We ain't gonna talk about the clenbuterol. We ain't gonna talk about overrated ass Triple G, who people said, well, he might be, is he one of the best at 160 ever? Really? Iran Barkley would destroy Triple G. I know a lot of y'all don't even know who he is. Iran Barkley would destroy Triple G. I got a prime Sergio Martinez whooping the shit out of Triple G. Paul Williams would have beat the shit out of Triple G. I ain't even got to talk about Roy. I ain't got to talk about James Honey. I ain't got to talk about Bernard Hopkins. We know he didn't want to fight Andre Ward, who was just a weight class above him. We know that. We know that. We know he didn't want to fight Charlo. We know he didn't want to fight Andrade. So what is Triple G? But this is one of the ghosts on Canelo's resume. Oh, Triple G. Ooh. What is he? And then this despicable, this just display at 168. 168 has to be the weakest division of fighters I've ever heard of. 168, that division of champions. Let me say of champions. You tell me, Callum Smith? Was it Callum Smith? Something Smith. Who cares? Rocky Fielding. Plant. Yilchin. I don't think Yilchin was a champ. But anyway, those are the dudes he fought at 68. What? That's what he fought at 68. Imagine if Floyd Mayweather fought those dudes. Just imagine if Floyd Mayweather fought those dudes and said, yeah. This proves I would have knocked out Manny Pacquiao in his prime. People still think right now Pacquiao would have beat Floyd Mayweather if they fought in their prime. Are you fucking serious? This is what it's come to. This dude beat up bums at 68 and nobody criticized him. Demetrius Andrade, who was 2-division champ, chased him from 54, chased him to 60, now going to this press conference at 68, saying, what's up, what do you got to do to fight him? And people saying he got to do more. What did the Cruiserweight dude do to fight Canelo Alvarez? Did he win belts in multiple divisions? No. Is he undefeated? No. He's actually been stopped twice. In his first fight and then against Tony Bellew. So, he's not multiple weight class champion. Not champion in multiple weight divisions. He's WBC champion at and it's interesting, he's going for the WBC belt. The WBC belt. The same organization that made him the first franchise champion. To keep him away from Charlo. Now he's going for the WBC belt at 200 pounds. Because after Cruiserweight, what is it, heavyweight? After Cruiser? I know it's a weight class between Cruiser and heavyweight. But Canelo Alvarez has gone from 154 to 200 pounds and missed 5 of the most dangerous fighters in those divisions. In no particular order: David Benavidez, Dimitri Bivol, Berterbia, however you want to pronounce it, Jamal Charlo, and Demetrius Andrade. Those are the 5 most dangerous fighters from 160 to 200 pounds. I'll say 175 because I don't know. Cruiserweight, I don't know. But for sure, I know for certain, no one can tell me, anyone, I give you any fighter, from 175, from 160 to 175, give me a fighter other than the ones I named that are better than the ones I named. Give me a fighter, give me somebody that's better than Berterbia, Bivol, Benavidez, Charlo, and Andrade. Give me the name of the person that's better than those guys. Give me the name. Give me the name of the guy at 200 pounds at Cruiserweight who's better than those guys. Because if you want to say, well, they're awkward, they're not popular. Shit, who knows anybody at Cruiserweight? We only knew Uzi because he unified at Cruiserweight. Who knows anybody at Cruiserweight? But people cool with this shit. And people want to say Cinnamon is an all-time great. This is why the Mexican OGs don't even like Canelo Alvarez. I understand the Mexican fans like Canelo Alvarez because, they're going to go for the countryman. But I don't understand why these black fight fans came for Canelo Alvarez so much. I don't understand it. And yes, I'm going to get on Jamal Charlo, even though I do think you deserve a shot at Triple G. Deserve a shot at Triple G is it too, but you deserve a shot at Canelo. But I'm gonna get on you, no homo, because you and your brother, y'all on some bitch shit. But we back on Cinnamon. Cinnamon and all his fanboys, fucking disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. This is why he will never be an all-time great. This is why he will, when people go back and look through history, he gonna have one of the worst careers of all time. I said it here first. He's the most hyped, most overrated boxer I have ever, me personally. I can't think of a boxer who was more hyped and overrated than Canelo Alvarez. I can't. They tried to hype up Triple G, but that shit didn't work. They tried to hype up Lomo, that shit didn't work. Canelo Alvarez, yeah. I want to say the most hyped, overrated fighter I've seen. I'm thinking hard. I don't want to just, put that on him, but I know for sure the most hype overrated fighter sent in the last 10 years. Hands down. More hype than overrated than Earl Spence. More hype than overrated than Deontay Wilder. More hype than overrated than Anthony Joshua. Whoever you want to put out there. Whoever you want to put out there is Canelo Alvarez. Because like I said, what has he done? What has he done? Besides be Mexican. That's why the Mexicans like him. But what has he done? I mean, just go down the list of the fighters he fought in championship bouts. His best championship bouts. Old Kovalev on weight clauses. After Kovalev was stopped twice. Stopped by Alida Alvarez. We know Alida Alvarez is not considered elite at 75. He was stopped by that guy. You got that. Then you got the bombs at 68. Well, I ain't gonna say bombs. Then you got the guys that are probably C-level fighters at 68. Probably some D-level fighters at 68. Then you got Triple G, who was 35. And Triple G's best win was Danny Jacobs. Yeah. And Danny Jacobs. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then what? 54. Laura Trout. Okay. Floyd. Definitely he got destroyed. What else? Matthew Haddon. Vanes Monteroshan. Those dudes he fought for championship belts. People want to gloss over this shit, though. But I've been yambling on too long. This probably incoherent and all but we're going to let it roll, though. We're going to let it roll. So for any Canelo Alvarez fanboy, if you can make it through all this garbage, I ain't going to say garbage, all this, if you can make it through this entire video, please let me know what you think. To Canelo Alvarez fanboys only. Please tell me where I'm mistaken at. Please tell me where I told a lie. Please tell me where the false is going. False statement I made. Please correct me. Which I doubt you can. And if you can't correct me, to the Canelo Alvarez fanboys, what does it mean by Canelo Alvarez? Until next time.